like a little bit, because I came from a very sort of, I'm like, yeah, I've got a jazzy approach to my music. It's not as clinically produced, and I don't like the clinical sound like the high-end sort of digital productions have these days. I still prefer a little bit of sort of, you know, off-sounding, non-sort of, you know, perfectly spliced sounds, you know, like it gives you the feeling that you're actually listening to something a little bit liver, the feeling. But then again, we mixed a lot of digital sounds with acoustic sounds, like we used a bit of Hammond orchestra alongside some, you know, just, you know, electric snare sounds or whatever. But in the end, I thought it has a very loose acoustic digital blend and a sort of new agey, soul, jazzy, reggae flavors to it.
In fact, I listened to some of your stuff.
But the lyrics, it's
last time.
Yeah.
Some of your stuff, and I found it very, it's cool stuff.
Thank you very much, Doug. Quite crucial track, that one. It's called Poetic Reasoning, and again, it's about the question, who am I? If you ask yourself that, I don't know how many people could answer that, and I certainly, it's a mysterious question anyways for most people, but I think it's still important to ask it anyways, and that's more of like a poem he wrote when he first got to London.
Okay then.
And his old man was sounded like a true Rastaman in the Caribbean, and his mother's a white lady.
Okay.
And she married him, but I think he passed away at one point, and the only thing he left Khalifa was like a big chillum with a ganja leaf on the front of it, which he hasn't even smoked it. I'm just saying, maybe if we release a track one day, we'll have to boom it up with a big chillum.
Okay.
But yeah, he's a very sound dude, and he's got very strong affinity to nature, yet also very strong opinions about things in society as well. And when I met him, he seemed at a bit of a dead end in a way. He'd be sitting there at home and he wasn't really keen to go out, yet he was like writing down some pretty intense lyrics. So, you know, I'd say what they are, but you must get a copy of the CD and listen to what he's saying. And I still think some of it's a little bit too crucial, you know. I'm not convinced like technology is the worst thing. It has actually uplifted human survival conditions to a certain level and helped in some ways, but also it might, you know, it also is saturating the quality of everyday life, maybe as we adjust to its path or whatever. I don't know.
So
I guess the music actually to us speaks a message about the sort of evolution of technology or music itself. I guess it's called liquid creation. So we've just
what is the future? Where's the future holds for you personally? Where do you want to take your music career personally?
I've come to a bit of a point now when, you know, I've become a little bit. I've had to decide I need to work a bit to make, you know, get some food on the table and make ends meet.
Okay.
But I'm on the road at the minute and I'm just trying to travel, and I've been working at music festivals the last 3 years.
Okay.
The one called the Secret Garden Party, and that was up in Oxfordshire.
Okay, I never heard of that one.
Lovely festival. It's quite lavish, you know, lots of different things going on, lots of different cultures and stuff, although I think they still need to open up to a little bit more worldly influence.
Was it called
Secret Garden Party?
I think someone mentioned that to me the other day. Is it big? I don't know you guys.
I heard Desmond Dekker play there live actually, the first time I was there, and I've been to a lot of festivals in South Africa, but they're all psychedelic trance. 3-day getaway in the mountains, you know, you go there and you can listen to music, or you can disappear and hike up the mountain for 6 hours up the river. Really, really good getaway. Every time you come back to the city or to, you know, back to where you're staying afterwards, you really feel, wow, that was a good escape, a good, you know, change of scenario. But then I came over here and I've got some fairly festive family over here from my mum's side, and like one of my cousins married the son of Michael Eavis, who's the chap that started Glastonbury, which must be one of the biggest music festivals in the world. And I've never been to Glastonbury. I tried to get in a ticket for this year, or perhaps go and work there or something, but they said actually it's become such a big thing that a lot of the rights have been distributed to other people, and I know his daughter still has a lot to do with that, and probably him himself as well. Never met him, but met his son, and I went to Pilton Music Festival, which is like a local Glastonbury for the dudes over there, and it was really an opening experience. Quite a hectic experience, but really, really nice. I had like a really like cosmic open feeling there, like listening to just any old band playing, but it was just very folky and country and traveling sort of vibes.
Right.
And after that, luckily on the internet, I was just scouring for a job on the Gumtree, and I see lifeguards needed for festival. So I phoned him up and he goes, yeah, no, it's rules, safety and health and all this jazz that you got in this country. In South Africa, you got a festival, they say, come at your own risk, mate. Which adds quite another angle to what people experience at the festival. But here in this country, health and safety is number one, and maybe not a bad thing anyways. So there I say, I'm a lifesaver. I've done my life-saving course, Surf Proficiency Award. I've been surfing for 13 years, which has always kept me a very close affinity to nature and very metaphysical lifestyle. It's great surfing. And I got the gig. He says, yeah, organize 6 lifeguards. So I go there with a team of dudes. We split up into 3-3, and we worked 6 hours on, 6 hours off, 6 hours on, 6 hours off for 4 days straight. Quite a challenge.
Where did you do that? Where was that?
That was in Northamptonshire, Oxfordshire it was. Oxfordshire,
okay.
Yeah. Nice venue. It's a private piece of land with a dam in the middle, and just spread around is like about 8 different stages with different music. You got the main stage.
Something quite eye-opener for you,
pardon?
It was a good eye-opener for you,
It was, really. Yeah. I felt the strong sort of, more of a 60s sort of vibrations of energy flowing compared to, you know, the 90s or 2000 or millennium stuff like that. And to me, I'd never experienced that before. My music was always about what's coming next and evolving with music. But nowadays, since I've come to London this time around, the first time I collected quite a lot of hip-hop and stuff. This time around I've been collecting a lot more dub, a lot more reggae, a lot more anything from different people, just trading music and stuff when I can. And because of that, I've also working at the festivals, I found music is where you are and when you're there and who you're with, the environment you're with when you're listening to it.
That's a good point.
And when most people judge music, it's from the standpoint of, oh, I'm sitting at home listening to music and this is my stereo and my music. And I think it sounds pretty cool, you know? But, you know, and then they'll say, this is how I judge this music. But it very much depends who you're with and where you're with when you're listening.
Right.
And then anything goes. I mean, I find I'm walking around, I'm supposed to be life-saving, but life-saving, what's that? Wandering around, really, and, you know, hey, there's someone passed out on too much of this or that. Slap, slap, wake up and off you go or something, I don't know, you know? So life-saving, it's been a challenge, really.
Okay, then.
But a nice way to be a part of and working there as well, and also good to open me up to listening on all levels. And yeah.
So do you do all writing yourself?
When I write, I see now these digital programs like Cubase and stuff. I see them as quite a three-dimensional layout in a way. There's a progressive, logical way you can write, or you could just record and overdub tracks or whatever as well. And a mate of mine in Cape Town has produced some really amazing quality digital textures, very progressive and very sort of energy based, and I was really blown away with that, and I've DJ'd that at a couple of underground squat parties in London, and the response I got was quite good, I think. Really opening music, or people were like, yeah, nice one, thank you, and I was like, sweet. Yet I still feel like a more slowed down, constant, you know, beat, and what we produced with the hip hop and stuff. And reggae has a more long-lasting sort of message to the listener at the end of the day. Plus lyrics as well.
Lyrics as well. Okay.
Because my dad was a jazz musician, I didn't have to have lyrics and music. It was great, but to me, the music has always been a stronger message and voice than necessarily lyrics. And I found now with pop music, the lyrics are just the same old stuff. The melodies are the same old stuff. And it's a bit depressing to see the youth of today growing up playing that around, you know, going and listening to that, and that's sort of summoning up their culture at the moment. But
let me spin it around to your dad. What did your dad used to listen to in terms of which artists influenced your dad?
I think he actually only got into more like improvisatory jazz later on in life. I think in the beginning he had quite a sort of like run with sort of poppy music to an extent as well, which was then more rocky, chilled out go-go girls in the cages and stuff dancing behind the stage, and he was on the organ then.
Okay.
Nice sound, and yeah, it was more rocky sort of, yeah, you know, Grease Lightning sort of stuff. In those days went down pretty well.
Okay then.
And you know, growing up in Cape Town, I'd always be like, oh, is your father Noel Klinkholm? And I'd be like, yeah. And it felt quite good to have, you know, like some distinguished father musician in a way.
So,
but then later, and he had a #1 hit in South Africa called Silence is Golden. Very cool track. And it was, and it was also #1 hit in Brazil. But I don't think it's the same one as the Beatles or whatever that was. But really cool track.